Hello, good afternoon. I'm Sharad Julka. I'm here to present the webinar. Today we are talking about product owner at scale. Let's take a look at the product owner role that we know of. The product owner we know owns the product backlog. He's the one who faces the customer and also the team. He's in charge, he or she is in charge of prioritizing the requirements as they come from the customer, establishes the acceptance criteria, and accepts the developed stories. This is the normal cycle that a product owner would go through, starting from facing the customer. Let's talk about that. So a customer says there is a certain requirement that needs to be done in this specific timeline, or a timeline is not shared and asked from the product owner. The product owner goes to the team with the requirements and asks one or two people within the team, or maybe the whole team, as to how this requirements can be developed. Now, this is a traditional cycle. We know about this. The 3C concept, as well as the stories being, the large requirements being broken down into smaller stories, smaller, so that they can be understood by the teams. But even before that, the requirements uh, are taken to the leads or the architects for having a high level understanding, so that some kind of commitment is given to the customer. And no matter what happens, the product owner has to set the requirements, describe them, keep on conversing with the customer, communicating with the customer, and establish acceptance criteria based on the discussion, and then take the help of the team, the architect, the designer, the lead, or use his or her domain and technical knowledge to break down large requirements into smaller and then take it forward. There are various steps involved. We know all that. We know the drill. See, if product is scale, this product, because that's the topic today. And if product is a large product, it's a complex product, the customer requirements are more and more, and they change very often. It requires a lot of time from the product owner side. As the number of requirements increase, the product backlog scales up, the number of items in the product backlog go and they multiply. The product owner would not be able to commit to the customer on the delivery on the basis of just a set of one team or two teams. The product owner would require multiple teams to work on these requirements and deliver over a period of time. The number of tasks that you can see a product owner would do. Prioritize requirements, converse with the customer, converse with the team, communicate and collaborate very frequently, split large requirements into smaller and more complete modular kind of small stories, have the acceptance criteria in there, have benefits mentioned so that the team knows why these requirements need to be converted into some kind of a product or a software or whatever solution. The product owner also spends a lot of time participating in a lot of ceremonies. We now know a product owner is part of the team, so it would be required to attend the planning, the regular ceremonies, planning, the daily stand-up, the demo, and the retro. Along with this, the product owner also spends time in matter refinement, grooming. If the number of teams grow, requirements grow, there is a need for more number of people to come in. Now, we are coming to the scale. The scale goes up, more number of people are required. But hang on. The challenge here is that we're talking about one big product. How do multiple product owners come together, collaborate? Is that what you're going to talk about in the next few minutes? So let's go ahead. The roles. In the last slide, we just talked about multiple activities being done by the product owner. So essentially, we are able to identify two roles clearly in the same person who is interfacing with the customer. a lot of times because of no more number of requirements and a very large complex requirement set, may not have enough time to go and interface with the teams, and even if it has the time, may not have enough time to interface with all the teams. Take, for example, 4 teams. Attending their ceremonies, answering their questions, also interfacing with the customer is not possible. So definitely you need one role, one person who is interfacing with the customer, owns the kind of a vision, the roadmap, how this whole product will be developed over a period of time. Because as the product scales up, the timeline for delivery also scales up. This person also drives the objectives at a larger level. Now, this level, at this large level, is called the program level. And this person also has to enable another person who interfaces the team. Now, he is the representation. He represents the product owner at this role 1, but you need somebody at the role 2 who can interface with the teams, but also can interface with the person at the role 1, and role 1 person interfaces with the customer. Now you have 2 people in between. So we are scaling up. This person at role 2 interfaces and also owns the backlog at the team level. Essentially the team backlog, the product backlog for the team, that kind of thing. And drives the objectives at the team level, enables the team makes the team understand what the requirements are, why they would need to be developed. And then you can see that there is, as the product scales, a more and more number of teams come in, more number of people are required at role 2, so that they can interface with people at role 1. Now the question that essentially comes in is, can we have same person execute both the roles? Now what are the factors that would influence that decision? The kind of focus that is required. How much focus can a person be give to either the customer or to the product in hand, the questions that are coming from the team? What is the size of that program? What's the size of the product? Multiple products. There could be multiple products as well, but we were still talking about one large product. And what's the product thinking? So is the customer thinking about at any one time why the product would be developed by multiple teams, would be developed by one team, but multiple products will be coming in. So many things are there. These influence this decision. And another thing that is very essential to understand, would there be a hierarchy? Would the person who is at role 2 be reporting to the person at role 1? Now, we don't have hierarchies in Agile. We start introducing one at the product owner level. So these questions are the ones. And now let's see, we need somebody at role 1. Could still be a product owner, could be a product manager, could be a business analyst, I don't know. Somebody at role 1, somebody at role 2. Now, one thing that we are sure is there is no hierarchy. We're just playing roles. Somebody who is more adept at handling teams works at role 2, more adept at customer focus, customer discussion, budgeting, all those kind of discussions, because we are dividing the roles. Somebody who can work with a customer, own the vision, or maybe not even own the vision, describe the vision to the teams and all. These two roles could still be interfacing with customer and the teams. The challenge is, would there be hierarchy? No. But the benefit is that at any point in time, they can always interact with any party, irrespective of who is there. But another benefit is that they have their focus on their own entities. So the role 1 can focus on customer, the role 2 can focus on the team, and they can still interact. Now that looks like a better model. Also, if you see these product owners or managers, let's give them the name. Role 1, product managers. Role 2, product owners. You may even call role 1 as product owner and role 2 product manager. Either way, for my own benefit for this particular webinar and for maybe some of the models that are out there, role 1, people at role 1 are called as product managers, people at role 2 are called product owners. And they need to have full view, irrespective of where they are. They need to have full view of the system, to understand what is required why it is required, so that it this product or solution can go to the customer on time with quality. And they should be able to decide what is the value stream, what are the steps that should be taken to achieve this value, to achieve and deliver this value to the customer. And this value should be delivered in multiple iterations. It's a large product, by the way. When you develop this product and deliver it in multiple iterations, you get regular feedback, apply that feedback, improvise. Also, it is important to analyze the requirements well in context so that you're able to establish acceptance criteria. Mind you, there are multiple teams working. So each team would work in its own set of stories and would contribute to a larger story that in that requirement hierarchy. So the acceptance criteria has to be well understood in that context. And it also, one thing that should be taken care by all the product owners and product managers is they should be able to identify where the delay is going to happen. Now, let's take an example. One major requirement to be done by, for example, 4 teams at any point in time, any team which is working slow will impact the delivery of all 4 teams. So we know this, that the fastest delivery time is equal to the slowest integration point, and that could be any one of the teams. That could be because of any one of the teams. So we have to have the full view, so these product owners and the product manager needs to have full view of all the teams, their capabilities, their capacities, the value that is being delivered and everything. You see, now the product is scaled up. Ideally, what is happening here? The vision of the customer or vision of the organization to deliver a solution to the customer goes through a chain. It goes through a chain. Vision is converted to a strategy. Some strategic items are taken. Strategy leads to some value. The way to achieve that value, there is a path to it. There is a way to it. How to achieve value in number of steps. Those number of steps are constructed as value stream. There is a roadmap which is prepared to achieve this value, which maps directly to the value stream, and so a solution is delivered to the customer. This is all. And the product managers, product owners, they participate together throughout this conversion. Remember, the focus of the product manager is on the customer, the focus of the product owner is on the team. Now, we did talk about value. There is a large product. There are a number of teams involved. Number of dependencies might be there. How will they actually ensure that the value is delivered? We know the drill in Scrum. It's understandable that there is a potentially shippable increment that goes out every iteration, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, no matter what is the duration. We also know that at the end of this duration, it might be a deliverable to the customer, it may not be. But with a large product, the customer might not be looking for a delivery every sprint, every iteration. Might be looking for a substantial, marketable, deliverable, valuable chunk of software every few sprints, every few iterations. To be able to deliver that value every few iterations, there should be some value delivered every iteration. So that doesn't stop. So things remain the same, only that now you're delivering large value, large product. So what happens? It's important to understand the system and the interdependencies. It's important that value streams are formed, the product groups are formed. And that's what you do in your organizations. You form product groups, product owner council groups. So what should product owners do? They need to understand what are the dependencies. Can they form product groups? How they can organize product groups? And employ a requirement hierarchy. In requirement hierarchy, most of the organizations, they have features, stories. Some of the organizations have epics and stories. Ideally, it would be good to have large requirements as epics, smaller requirements as features, and much smaller requirements as stories. We know this drill. Many of us are already aware, but just for the sake of repetition, I might describe it again. Whatever you deliver in whatever the teams deliver in multiple releases is an epic. Whatever you deliver in one release is a feature, and whatever you deliver, you means your team delivers in one iteration is a story. So it's important that all these teams come together, plan together, so that their dependencies are clear. They can identify the risks, they can identify the uncertainties, and schedule objective milestones. Every 2 weeks, we are going to together deliver an integrated product, which will be viewed, demoed by the uh, team to the customer, to the stakeholders. Progress will be communicated, and then we'll get some feedback, employ that feedback, work another. But instead of planning this planning, because all teams are coming together, if all teams are coming together, they plan together, identify risks. Doing that for every iteration is a very expensive exercise. And then customer is not looking for, customer might be, but might not be looking every iteration. It is rather beneficial to plan for multiple iterations. Now here is the challenge. For how many iterations you plan? Can it be that this time you plan for next 5 iterations? Next time you plan for next 6 iterations? Next time you plan for 3 iterations? It is difficult to get a predictability measure, to get an estimation, to get a know-how of how much can be delivered after every, because this chunk of 5 or 3 or 4, you need to call this also as some kind of a boundary. Call it a program, call it a project. It's up to you. So it is good to have this as same timeline, same number of iterations. So every 2 iterations, okay, every 3, maybe every 4. So every 5, let's say every 4 iterations, we are going to deliver together, all of our teams are going to together deliver one integrated solution to the customer. Or going to make it ready so that customer may want it, may not want it, but we have it ready. That is what we call as a cadence, we know that. So we schedule objective milestone. But what we keep in mind is that we do not assume a lot of capacity. Even we assume a lot of capacity, but still limit our work in progress. Synchronize the events. All teams, it's good. And that's what Scale Agile framework talks about. It promotes that, it advocates that. Disciplined Agile methodology does not promote that kind of culture of having same cadence for each and every team. Well, that works. So it depends on which methodology you're using. I'm more inclined myself towards Scale Agile framework, but then it's totally up to you. It's large scale Scrum or Disciplined Agile or any other framework that you're using. But do have cadence. It's good. Do have cadence. Do have cadence. That's important. Every 4 iterations, you're going to deliver something. Every 4 iterations, you're going to deliver. That gives you a rhythm. You can schedule it. You can put it in your calendar and then go and execute that. Synchronize. Synchronize so that you are able to visualize what are the dependencies. They can be taken up. They can be mapped. They can be easily taken, and they can be, you can reduce that variability with that. You can, all the feedback that is obtained at the same time. They can be applied at the same time. If you want your teams to be predictable, it's easier to be predictable with same synchronization events. That means all teams, they plan on the same day. They start the sprint on the same day, end the sprint on the same day, do the demos. It's very challenging. I've seen that, practiced it, experimented it. Very challenging to be able to go and attend all the demos. But then what is beneficial is, on the positive side, they end at the same time. They know what dependencies are there, what challenges are being faced by the other teams, so they can take action and they can pass on. They can do trade-offs between teams. If there are stories to be taken by other teams, some teams have certain capacity, certain capability, they can be taken immediately. If there are dependencies, they can be regularly observed and monitored. So those kind of benefits you get with properly synchronized events. So cadence and synchronization is an essential element. Both. There are two elements actually. But the most important, irrespective of whatever you do or not, it's important for the product owners to trust the estimates from the teams and architects is an ask I would always have and you should have, all of us should have. Trust the estimates coming from teams and architects together. Okay, a small pause. How do you ensure? Now, we knew a couple of slides back, we saw how it is possible to be able to deliver value every every sprint, every iteration, regularly how you can deliver. Now, once this pattern is set, how it is possible to ensure that this value is being delivered. You can see, the customers can see, the stakeholders can actually come and see this. How is it possible? The only way possible is to have demo. The demo is an essential exercise where the team comes. We know that the team comes. They show what they've done. They've uh, worked on in the last iteration, and they show it to all the stakeholders. Now you'll see a set of demos there. Team demo. Each team does its own demo of whatever stories it had taken. What is a system demo? A system demo is an integrated demo of all the teams together. Integrated demo, which means that these teams, when they start their iteration, they have to plan for an integrated demo as well. That whatever stories they are working on together, each of them, the integration is done over the period of this iteration, over the period of the sprint, and the demo of that integrated stories is also done at the end of the sprint itself. Which is good because it ensures that your product is integrated at the end of its sprint. There's no carrying over from here. The release demo. The release demo is another milestone. At the end of every release, you show the demo, what, and all teams, again integrated, what every team has worked all throughout all the iterations. So when we're talking about 4 iterations, all teams, say 4 teams, 4 iterations, total work done, integrated as a release demo, show to the customer. Now, what is a solution demo? A solution demo is what exactly is required by the customer. This might be multiple iterations, multiple releases. It could be 1.5 release. It could be 2.5 release. It could just about anything. But it is when the customer actually looks out for something. So now you can identify what I'm talking about. That your release end might not match with the solution delivery. Yes, it is possible. It may not be that when you end your release, your customer is asking for a product that time, a solution that time. Vice versa, just think from the other side. It is good for us. We can go on working in our own cadence. We can go on working as teams, we can go on working in our own, cadence every 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, every iteration, every release. And when the customer requires any delivery, whatever we have integrated so far, we deliver to the customer. Obviously, it's not that easy, as I say. You'll have to have release management activities also done. But then this is a way. This is a way to do that. Okay. What is the role of the product owner in the enterprise? So having seen that the value is being delivered, there are demos, there are plannings and everything, what does the product owner actually do? Simple. The product owner establishes a sequence of backlog items based on the not only the product priorities, but priorities keeping in mind all the teams, all the events, all the dependencies. So every product owner will work on with the other product owner to understand their team dependencies with my team and with your team and see how this all can be put into the product backlog, how the items will have to be sequenced and prioritized. So it might be that a particular product backlog item is higher priority. So a particular product backlog item might be like priority number 1 for your team, but because other team essentially requires it, it can ask you, and whether the team says yes or no, again, it's a change. Yeah, the team can say respond to change. It can say yes or no. Depending on that, it can prioritize your top requirement as a second priority and that team as a first priority. Why would you do that? So that the team is not sitting idle for one full iteration. So you're helping each other. Now that's a call that you can take. I'm not saying that essentially you have to, But you can take a call. The product owner can take a call. The product owner cannot take a call, then product manager will take a call. Then you might say there is a hierarchy. No, the product manager has a role. He has to or she has to see the whole program. So the program priority takes over the team priority. Interesting, isn't it? So this product owner has to work with other product owners as well understood. This product owner definitely operates as part of the product management team consisting of product manager and other product owners of other teams. One question that is coming to my mind and might come to your mind as well. How many product teams, so how many agile teams can one product owner work with? One, two? Okay, there is no specific answer to that, but not definitely four or five becomes messy. Again, the same thing. Product is scaling up. That was the question we started with. If there are more number of teams, you will need more product owners. If there's one single product, very large, complex, so you have more product owners. So one to two, max four teams. I think three teams. I don't know. What's the size of your product? What's the complexity of your product? Is it too much of components in there? Too many features in there? Only components in there? Less features? Vice versa? So there's no specific answer. But yeah, definitely not four, five, six. That'd be too difficult for the product owner. So one, two, three, you know, kind of teams with one product owner. How many product owners can work with one product manager? One, two, three again. Right. Four. More than that, challenge. A product owner also, so we come back to the role of the product owner. Okay. So product owner also needs to understand how is the enterprise backlog model and how it operates. Now, the one that I just gave you a hint of is the epic to feature to stories. You might have something else as well. So like for example, Scale Agile Framework introduces something called capabilities at the value stream level. There's another requirement hierarchy. That's also one possibility. But any product owner should need to understand how the backlog model operates. What are the various entry and exit criteria for each and every model, for each and every requirement hierarchy. Now, he or she uses the release objectives and goals to communicate to the management and coordinates with other product owners. It's very, very clear. All right, move in. You can see on the bottom right side, these slides have references from the Scale Agile Framework. Yeah, that's right. So what does a good product owner qualify as? You have a good product owner. How do you call it a good product owner? One who believes and does effective communication with the team, with the customer, with the product manager, with the other product owners. One who has business sense, knows the business, knows the product, the priority, the market, has understanding of the knowledge of the market, what the market is all about. This product stands where, who are the competitors, how much time would it take to bring out this product to the market, and what are the government policies surrounding it. What factors influence, what strategies influence the speedy delivery of this product into the market or slower delivery into the market. What factors will influence you faster delivery of marketable product. It might not be the full product. The product owner is good if he or she has technical know-how, technical understanding, not mandatory, but good to have a technical foundation at least. Should be able to trust the teams. Should have the courage to say yes, no whenever required. Should be able to stand firm. And obviously, domain knowledge is a requirement of a good product owner. What are the anti-patterns? Now that's an interesting one. If a product owner is not doing this or is doing this, he is not a good product owner. So a product owner does any of these activities, estimating on behalf of the team, assigning stories to the team members, writing just one-liner or very briefly described stories without any much acceptance criteria, then he's not a very good product owner. Some product owner who is not available to the team for more than, or less than half or more than half of the time of the sprint. And if any team writes any technical stories or there is a bug coming into the product backlog, the product owner says, I'm sorry, I don't know about this technical story. I don't know why it is there. And does not attend the demo or does not provide timely feedback. Okay, I'll wait. I'll just take a look. Some kind of, I'm not understood I'll provide you feedback later. I'll give you quietly. All those are anti-patterns. And one product owner who does a solo mission, I am the one. I know domain. I know technical stuff. Other product owners have to talk to me. Who does a solo mission in a program? That's an anti-pattern. All right, let's move. Essentially a question I would ask any product owner. What is the estimation that you believe in? What's the estimation exercise you believe in? So if the team does the estimation, is that you're okay with? Estimates are done and refined at multiple events. You, why it is so? Let's talk about it. See, estimation as the product scales up, it's difficult to do estimation. The estimations that why are done are by the whole team. The best time to do estimation with other teams, with your team, all people participating. Why it is so? A small delta, a small error. Okay, let's not call it an error. I would say a change in the estimation from X to Y situation, it it just scales up, it multiplies. So it is good to keep reaffirming and confirming the estimation on the story or the feature as you move closer towards the iteration. What happens? Story is there or the feature is there, it's still in the backlog. Product owner has written the acceptance criteria, or the team has written the acceptance criteria, or the team has created a story. Product owner approves it. Now the product owner and team needs to sit and understand. But even before that, some estimate, some commitment has to be given to the customer or the stakeholders. So in that case, some estimate needs to be given. Now this estimate is just on the face of the story. You look at the story, the team members, maybe not be all of them. Some of the team members can just look at the story and commit to the product owner. This is the time, this is the timeline that we can look at by the end of which we can deliver the story or the set of stories or the feature, etc. But they're still not sure because they have not understood the full requirement. There might be a lot of questions. Now the team is involved, the grooming is done, it becomes even more clear. The estimates are refined. It's good opportunity for the team to refine the estimate. Iteration planning or the sprint planning, much better an opportunity to define the estimate. Only if it is required. If the team says estimate stays, estimate stays. If they need to revise, if they want to revise, they can. And it is essential for the product owner to go back and refine and revise that estimate and revise the commitment and provide it to the stakeholder. Not keep it with him or her. Oh, the team can change it again. Whenever it happens. That's the agility. You get a feedback. You get an estimate from the team. Take estimates from multiple teams. Multiple product owners taking estimates from multiple teams. Combine it all. You are in a position to provide much better estimate at the end of this exercise. Is it good to estimate again? It depends. It depends definitely on the organization, the customer, the stakeholders. For the right thing, yes, why not? Until you've started working on it, you have much better understanding. Go ahead, you can estimate. You might just come to know that there is you estimated it as 8 story point story, but now having some story done in the last sprint by some other team, you can reuse much of the code there, and you can probably do it in much lesser time. It doesn't look, and even if we don't talk about the time in terms of relativity, now it becomes very simple. It's not that complex. Much of the work has been done by the system team or the, the integration team or whatsoever team, and so it's simple now. So it might not deserve 8 story points, might deserve only 3, but then the team has to decide it, not me or you, not the product owner. Obviously, if you are part of the team, that team, you will decide, right? Provide that estimate to the product owner. Let the product owner take it to the stakeholder. Well, that's what you do, okay? So estimation, anyway, whole team exercise should be done by the whole team. So the product owner has given the stories, described the stories, put them in the backlog, prioritize them, team starts working on these stories. Now comes the time when product owner needs to see how the work is being done, how he or she can identify and let the stakeholder teams, the customer know whether there is a progress, they're moving in the right direction. In terms of stories I'm talking about, in terms of requirements, some of the metrics that the product owner can actually use are, and this is not one product owner, multiple product owners. I'm talking about the whole product manager team, product management team, and actually use this collectively as number of stories delivered every iteration. By one team, it could be just about 3 or 4 or 5. By number of teams, 30, 40, 50 stories. The combined business value of all these stories taken together, it'd be a large business value. When it scales up, it gives much more sense. It gives much more sense to the customer. It gives much more of a progress indicator to the customer. Throughput, the number of teams. Again, this is the same as the one, so it's fine. Team predictability. Yes, are you able to predict how the team are able to deliver on the basis of the commitment? They committed like 10 stories and delivered 8. They committed 5 stories that delivered 5. They delivered 7 stories that delivered 8. What's the predictability of the team? Now, this cannot be delivered. This cannot be measured in one iteration. None of them. Need to good to take a running average. I always would like the product owners to take a running average over a period of time of how these measures they are improving. It's not only important to monitor, but also see how they're improving. And that's why the product owner would actually measure them, see the trend, how it is going up, down. And obviously a number of fully integrated stories. That could be another one. So that's good. Team predictability is probably one that I would really consider as one of the very good ones. And some of the other things that you can always do is velocity, is the business value, the number of story points delivered, etc. Okay, one important thing. The product owner is there. There are other product owners. All of them need to collaborate with each other. All of them need to collaborate with their teams, other teams. All of them need to collaborate with stakeholders. How do they collaborate with stakeholders? It is essential that they have, now that's something that you don't have on the slide, but we can something have, and I'm reminded of, is to, to see, the first thing that you can do is have an expectation setting meeting. What do you expect from us? And this expectation setting with the stakeholders can be needs to be done as early as possible. Who are the stakeholders? Line managers, development managers, delivery managers. You like them or not, in Agile they are there. Be Agile, no Agile, these roles are, designations are there. To architects, designers, directors, development directors, delivery directors, testing directors, integration managers, system verification manager, system verification test engineer, etc. So many of those designations and roles. These are all stakeholders, VPs, directors of this business unit, the other business unit, the other product. How do you communicate with them? Now, each uh, stakeholder can be categorized as a major stakeholder, minor stakeholder, subject matter expert, so on and so forth. So, give me a second, please. Yep, it's back. So, that's how they set the expectations, and then see what is the engagement level of each of these stakeholders. Do they influence the product? Do they influence the stories, what goes in? Do they influence the team members? And what is their interest in this product? What is their availability in this product? So we can just draw a matrix. We can draw a matrix about the influence and the interest, or the influence and the availability. So we can have 4 quadrants. People or stakeholders who drive or who exercise less influence on the team and are less available also. Such people only need to be, probably only need to be informed of how things are going. We just need to only monitor how things are going. The quality director of quality, director of, or the manager of quality, manager IT, and so forth. Somebody who is unrelated, manager of, some other team, how things are going. Who could be potential customers later on, not very interested, not even available. People who are who highly influence what goes into the backlog, how the teams operate, how the teams work, but they are not very much available. The vice president, the AVPs, the directors, they definitely need to be kept informed how things are going, how things are moving. Their interest level is high, their availability is less, but their influence is also high. So they need to be informed. What about people who have high influence and they are available also? Product owners, product managers, architects, development managers, line managers. They're available all the time and they also influence a lot of activities that go inside. Now, those engagement level, that kind of people, they need to be strongly involved. They need to be very much involved. Planning sessions, demos, retrospectives, inspect and adopt sessions, like the retrospectives are part of those. They need to be really much involved. So collaboration with all these stakeholders, there has to be a certain level of collaboration with each and every. You have to just identify what is the interest or the influence exercised by or the availability of each and every stakeholder. So you can just draw a chart and you can say that this is how it can be done. That's essential. So important that a product owner at a scale level is able to interact, communicate properly, and is able to generate interest in the stakeholder by means of providing updates, by means of by involvement, and by means of keeping in touch of how things are going. So that's the engagement level that can be exercised by the product owner. Now, product owners, like technical people in the team, like for example, all the technical members of various technical teams, they come together and they form something called communities of practice. Is a is a body that can be formed, technical consortium or a group or a meetup group. Likewise, the product owners can also come together and can form communities of practice. The COPs, whether they can be according to their role. For example, all product owners of all one group can come together. All product owners of another group can be another one. So maybe all product owners, product managers, business analysts, they can form their own groups. The other possibility of having the group is all product owners who are part of the development team of product one, the product owners who are part of the DevOps team, the product owner who are part of engineering team, who are part of the architect or solution team, something like that. So they can have a role wise or topic wise also product owners related to this particular topic or that topic. So they can organize, but they can always form communities of practice to share their learnings, to share their pains, their challenges, and involve coaches or scrum masters to help them. So that's a good thing, and that's also one way of introducing and collaborating with other stakeholders. So that's what I would say about product owner and the role of product owner at scale. Thank you for attending this webinar. I'm happy that you are there, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those.